right, I'd like to get this meeting started at 2:04. Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Here.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Here.
Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Vang may be here momentarily. We expect the mayor momentarily. Vice Mayor Talamentes.
All right, thank you so much. Councilmember Maple, will you lead us in the land acknowledgement and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand if you are able. Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Potwin Wintun peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Remain standing, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Moving along, we have a special presentation by Mayor Pro Tem Guerra on National Engineers Week.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. It's a pleasure here to join everyone on National Engineers Week, where we highlight the important work of engineers who make an impact to all of our lives, but particularly here in the city of Sacramento. As a very proud alumni of the Sac State College of Engineering and Computer Science program here in the Electro-Electronic Engineering, I can attest to the hard work and dedication that it takes not only to accomplish the degree, but then to pursue all of the values and the requirements that all of us must take in our work as engineers. Now, National Engineers Week coincides with President's Day, and that's, for any history buff, is because our America's first engineer, as the Britannica will acknowledge, was George Washington. And George Washington was a surveyor and an engineer, and so that's why the second week, during President's Day week, we recognize National Engineers Week. Now, our city currently employs about 239 engineers throughout all our departments. The city employees are in civil engineers, software engineer, environmental engineers, and many more. Today, I'd like to recognize just 3 of those who are with us today, representing those specific departments by the city of Sacramento. And those are in the departments of Public Works, departments of Utilities, and Department of IT. And also to recognize them up here, many of them who may have been their faculty member or in fact dean at that time. I'd like to welcome to the podium here also the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science, Dr. Kayvon Shafizadeh. Shafizadeh. Let me, if I got it that Kayvon, did I get that right, Doctor?
Shafizada, but
Shafizada, there we go. Shafizada.
Syllable you put your emphasis.
Yes, no. But if before you, I'd love to have you give a few words. But first, I'd like to actually welcome also up, if we could bring up Ofelia Avalos here. Now, our first engineer here, she is a engineer in the Department of Public Works. Ofelia has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Sac State and is also a licensed engineer for the state of California. She first started as a student trainee here in 1991 and since then has held the titles throughout the city. Ofelia is now an engineering service division manager for Public Works. She's also the first Latina division manager and first woman division manager to hold this title. Thank you, Ofelia, for 35 years to the city. Let's give her a big round of applause. Next, I'd like to also recognize Roxanne Dilley from the City of Sacramento's Department of Utilities. Roxanne has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Geological Engineering from Sac State. Roxanne first started as an intern with the city in February of 2003. She became a junior engineer in September 2005 and is now a supervising engineer with the Department of Utilities. Thank you for your 20 years of service so far to the city of Sacramento. Let's give also Roxanne a big round of applause. Last, I'd would like to, but not least, also recognize Lee Tao from the Information Technology Department. Lee has an associate's degree in business administration from Sac City College and a bachelor's of science degree in management information technology systems from Sac State. Lee first started as a youth aide in 2005 and moved over to the IT department in 2013 as an IT trainee. Lee is currently systems engineer with a specialty in cybersecurity. This marks 20 years for the city of Sacramento. For Lee, let's give him a big round of applause as well. So all of us know that when we come into engineering, our challenges are always to solve the issues that are affecting the people of Sacramento. And I'm very proud to say that these are just 3 individuals of many, of over 200, that every day when they come to work, they're trying to tackle some of the biggest challenges that our city faces. So with that, I'd like to welcome, the dean who is helping provide the next phase in the next workforce. Kayvon, please welcome. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. I've prepared a few words for the council. Mayor McCarty, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and City Council members, thank you for this thoughtful resolution recognizing National Engineers Week. My name is Kayvon Shafazada. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science at Sacramento State and a city resident. The partnership between the City of Sacramento and Sacramento State represents a powerful engine for innovation and community development. Our students and faculty regularly collaborate with city departments on real-world projects. These partnerships provide invaluable hands-on experience for our students while helping address important engineering challenges facing our city. Our students gain practical experience while bringing fresh perspectives to city projects, and many of these students, as you see here, go on to build their careers right here in the city of Sacramento, strengthening our local engineering workforce. Looking ahead, we're excited to expand these collaborative opportunities, particularly around sustainable infrastructure, smart city technologies, and climate resilience. The continued support of the City Council helps make these partnerships possible. Thank you again for recognizing these contributions of engineers and for being partners in preparing the next generation of engineering professionals. Working together, we can continue to innovate solutions that enhance quality of life for all Sacramentans. Stingers up.
Stingers up. Thank you, Kayvon.
I also want
Ophelia, yes.
Yes, I also want to recognize everyone in the audience who are engineers today. If you guys could all stand
Yes,
up.
please stand up. Please stand up. And if our 3 recognized individuals could come up, but to say some brief, small last words, our chief engineer, let's bring up our assistant city manager, who's also moved up the ranks, local Sacramento, Ryan Moore. So Ryan, oh wait, it's on the way on the far back.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the recognition. It's been said, so I won't belabor this. I know we want to move on to the photographs, but thank you for this. As a career engineer, I've been doing this for over a quarter of a century. It's a labor of love. It's one of the most exciting degrees I think you can get in college, and it's a career that is so diverse. It's one of the oldest professions we have in humanity, and it's, as you mentioned, a few of them, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. It's a fantastic field to be involved with, and as Kayvon pointed out, it continues to evolve as the world continues to present new challenges with things like cybersecurity, climate change, new forms of energy. To be in the sort of the leading edge of the field that's addressing those problems is exciting. Every day, it's a blast coming to work. Quite honestly, it's really a fun career to be involved with. So thank you so much for the recognition.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. And as they say, many people see, our city governance as, public safety, fire, but one of the things that always keeps our city moving is our engineers. So congratulations again. And if we can have you come up here, we'll take a quick photo on the resolution.
And just quickly, which I want to thank you, Councilmember Guerra, for doing this, but I would be remiss if I did not call out my husband, who is a UC Davis grad, master's grad, and a planning engineer with the Department of Water Resources. So there are many, not just Sac State, but UC Davis in the region that produces a lot of engineers.
Still the same place. Yeah.
So Mayor, we now move to the consent calendar. We have agenda items 1 through 14. Are there members that have questions or make comments? Councilmember Maple,
Quick comments on item 6, please.
Vice Mayor Talamantes,
Item 2, and for item number 5, I'll make the motion, and I'll make comment on this, but I'd like for it to be continued.
Councilmember Dickinson,
I've got a couple questions on item 11.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Quick comment on item 4.
and Councilmember Kaplan.
Items 6 and 8.
Okay, I will attempt to go in order. Vice Mayor Talamantes on item 2 and 5.
I just want to welcome Ashley Patel to the Disabilities Advisory Commission for District 3, and I see Joe Contreras in the audience, who's also being appointed to Ann Land and Bertha Memorial Funds Commission. He's I call him the mayor of Garland, and so I just want to make sure I give him a shout out, and thank you for being here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra on item 4.
Great, thank you very much. I wanted to thank all of our engineers over that are working on the Fruit Ridge Road improvements. This is an area that is right next to a school, Earl Warren Elementary. It's also one of the areas where we unfortunately had some fatalities when back then Councilmember McCarty was on the council. And this vital project moves us to phase 2 on a road diet, some safety improvements and some crosswalking areas, not only from Power Inn on Fruit Ridge Road and 65th, but now being able to start the beginning work on phase 2 of 65th and Stockton Boulevard. So hopefully we'll be able to provide safety, more safety on Fruit Ridge Road, along with not only improving the roadway in the surface area, but reducing the speed limit here. We see these changes are being able to reduce the speed limit, but also reduce the traffic volumes here by engineering design. So with that, thank you to all the staff again, and thank you to all the engineers who are thinking about all those kids there at Earl Warren Elementary.
Thank you. Councilmember Maple on item 6.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Just really wanted to give a shout out to our amazing team in the police department and city manager's office for this $400,000 grant from the California Office of Traffic Safety. This is an amazing thing for Sacramento. It's going to hopefully help us reduce the number of persons killed and injured in crashes involving alcohol. We know that pedestrian safety is a priority for this council and the city, and this is just another step toward that. So just really want to appreciate our team for working on this grant. Thank you.
Thank you. So Councilmember Kaplan on 6 and 8.
Thank you. I just want to ditto. This is on item 6. This has been a grant we've received since 2018. And I really want to thank our police department because they've changed their approach this time around. And they're now shifting to data-driven decisions to look at the last 3 months so they can really see where high injury networks are occurring in real time and real data. But also included in this grant, if you dig in, is to support outreach for our schools and providing presentations to our kids on distracted driving. I can tell you we see a lot of our kids on electric scooters nowadays, not wearing helmets and blowing through stop signs and everywhere else that I think it's really essential we reach out to our students to educate them to reduce the fatalities there. So I really want to thank the police department for getting this grant for many years in a row, but also changing how they look at things and as a data focused. And moving on to item 8, I have no issue with the credit agreement payment for construction on Panhandle Project 105, but one of the things I want to put to the record that I've also talked to staff about, because of this project, there have been some issues that have come up with the existing community and now the new community being constructed. So whether I need to put an official request in, I am making this request on new development. So the developer complied with DOU rules, complied with Public Works, complied with planning, but one thing that was missed as regarding sewer, which is the county, the community did not understand that there would be a 4-foot differential between the existing community and the new community. So you add a 4-foot retaining wall to your backyard and a 6-foot fence on top of it, and they're right next to each other, which is causing some significant issues with the pre-existing community. And none of that was noticed because, of course, the developer complied with all city rules and requirements. So one of the things I'd like us to look at now, especially with new development and redevelopment, if there is a height differential more than like a foot, that we need to kind of coordinate with the new sewer requirements, that it's required that they needed that 4-foot differential to comply with the law, that we look at including language so that DOU and planning also reach out to sewer, and if there is such a height differential, that is required an additional setback, so you don't have new properties significantly overlooking existing properties that have existed for several decades. But I just wanted to make that a call out because this is the specific project that my community and some homeowners are having some major heartburn on. And I know, Vice Mayor, you made the motion. I will second consent
Yes, with the continuation of item 5.
with continuation of item 5.
Comment on.
Councilmember Dickinson on item 11.
Thanks. Is there someone here who can answer some questions? Oh, great.
They assume we have plenty of public comment.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This is Neil Joyce. I'm a supervising engineer for Department of Utilities over our Development Review and Floodplain Management section.
Thanks. We've got to put some engineers on the spot here. Okay. It was not entirely clear to me from the staff report or the follow-up I had, or the map, where the A99 zones are that'll be affected by these amendments to the floodplain management ordinance. My recollection was A99 zone was mostly in Natomas, but is there more than that?
No, A99 is limited to south and north Natomas.
Okay, and then there was also an indication that there were changes that would apply to Magpie Creek.
There's not actually changes to Magpie Creek. We're just more clearly defining that Magpie Creek is a local floodplain and that it has special regulations related to that. So it's been a pre-existing condition. It's just that we've had challenges come when developers come through. So we wanted to more clearly define it in code so that we could point to that.
And that was really the next question I had was what are the impacts for anyone who lives or would develop in the areas affected by these amendments to the floodplain management ordinance?
So for the Natomas area, it's doing an elevation certificate, basically stating that you're above the 100-year flood elevation with your finished floors. Magpie Creek is subject to 200-year flood restrictions, so I'd be demonstrating that you're above the 200-year floodplain.
And to your knowledge, are there any impacts related to the availability or cost of flood insurance for these areas that will be affected by the amendments?
This should not affect flood insurance. The fact is that we participate in the Community Rating System program. It's a FEMA program where we get flood insurance discounts.
Right.
And the reason for these changes is to continue our participation in there and continue the points that we've been credited. So this will allow us to continue to get discounted flood insurance for the residents.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. Okay. Thanks very much for clarifying that for me. Thank you.
Okay, so Mayor, you have a motion by Vice Mayor Talamantes, a second by Councilmember Kaplan, and that includes withdrawing item number 5.
And Clerk, I wanted to make comment on that. So just real quick, so item number 5 is about surplus land for the city of Sacramento that's behind Natomas High School, Discovery High School. And just want to thank city staff and the developer for all their work on this, but what's happening right now is that it's a big lot of land that was initially going to be sold all together all at once, and now only a section of that land is being bought, and so it leaves a triangle piece of land that has nothing, well, there's no exact plans for it yet. And so I'm looking to build a sound wall around the structure so that it's completed into Falling Ranch Park and potentially a park, but I have a lot of questions from my community, our Park Ridge community and South Natomas community, so I just wanted to make sure that our plans as a city and as a developer behind this project are fully set in stone before we move forward with the full lease.
Okay. Thank you, noted. And we do not have public comment today on any consent item, but we did have one public comment if there was a question. So I'm going to ask the question to our former council member, Steve Cohn. You can give us a brief history lesson of East Portal Park and the bocce ball courts there.
That's your question?
That's my question. And we're limiting that to 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, well,
The question is whether you can be brief or not.
no, that's an easy one, no. But Mr. Mayor and council members, pleasure. Can I at least introduce my board?
Yes, please. And you have more than 2 minutes.
I'm actually not on the board, but my wife is, Catherine Travers. We have Iggy Lopez Alvarez, John Leonard, Jay James, our president. Some of you may recognize former police officer Joe Payne and Henry. What's your last name, Henry? Powell. That's not the whole board, but at any rate, it does go back. There's a real Italian history. I'm not actually going to go through that because I sent a letter that does describe that history. But if you do have a question more specific, I'd be happy to go through it. But it is a great asset for the city of Sacramento, for our neighborhood in particular, but also I think it's a sport that really needs to grow because it is something that can be played by people of all ages, abilities. You can be, I've seen quadriplegic folks out playing. They can use a tray, get the ball going with their chin. It's amazing. And then, of course, we have some very skilled people, too, who have won national championships out there. So it's a great partnership. And since you asked me up, I will recognize, though, Ryan Moore. He's already been recognized, but does a great job as assistant city manager. Jason Wiesman, who really helped us get through this lease, and Jackie Beecham, also I don't know the name anymore of Parks, but whatever the name of Parks Department is, you're doing a great job. And congratulations, Laney, on being city manager. I go way back with Laney, so you listened to her on budgetary matters in particular.
Okay.
So, at any rate, thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, former council member Cohn. I just want to say that I was on the council and you aptly represented East Sacramento and East Portal Park. And I remember when this project came to fruition, the bocce ball court, just fast forward 10 or 15 years later. Look, we have a tough time keeping up on all of our city parks with park maintenance. But this is one example where the community members led by the Bocce Ball Association really step up to keep it in tip-top shape. So that makes it an easy ask for this continued partnership. So
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. And we'd be happy to have any of you out there to try it, too. In fact, John Leonard says he'll give free lessons, so there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're not done. Councilmember Jennings maybe has a
Yes,
question.
I'll be more than happy to take you up on the offer to try some bocce ball and see if I can do that sport. It's not one that I've done in my lifetime, but I'd love to try it. Just for your service to the city of Sacramento, I just want to go on record as to, and I don't want to say the wrong number. How many years of service did you serve?
20 years on this council, 5 terms.
That deserves a round of applause, if I can say.
Yes, and maybe a round of what the heck were you thinking? No. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we have a motion and a second on the consent calendar, absent item number 5, which will be continued. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, consent calendar passes.
So Mayor, that concludes the business of this meeting. We do have council comments, ideas, and questions. And then I have 3 speakers for public comments, matters not on the agenda.
Okay. Council ideas, comments, and questions?
I see no one
Seeing
here.
none, public comment.
Thank you. Kai Own, Lance Hatfield, then Dia Good. Kai? Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mayor and all council member. My name is Kyle. 1 month ago, I was here about the request to the council to discuss the issue that my father was killed in downtown Sacramento, but SPD provided me fake investigation report. It has 1 month. I submit all the information to Mr. Jennings' internship, Mr. Rubio, but I still don't have any information about who killed my father. Can the mayor and all the council member that consider to discuss this case in the council meeting and put it in the agenda item? Can mayor provide any comment on my request?
No, we can't comment, but we can have our staff take your name and number, and we can potentially follow up. Thank you.
Next speaker is Lance Hatfield.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best to get whatever I can in 2 minutes, because if your, Mayor, council members, if your assistants have given you the information, you all know what I'm here to talk about, because I've left copious amounts of messages. And this is about my experience going through the homeless system in Sacramento. And I guess because I have 2 minutes, I have to sum it up. I have experienced both currently at Mitch Peters from First Property Management, as well as X Street Navigation Center, and most egregiously at Project Room Key with Next Move, about this board, or this council and the Sacramento Board of Supervisors misappropriating funds in order to create, expecting the taxpayer to pay to make their community less safe, like with Mitch Peters, which I'm experiencing right now. I have a court date in 2 days. Like X Street Navigation Center, where all my complaints when I was a resident there about the egregious noncompliance of the good neighbor policy went either unanswered or was met with contempt. Like when I complained about X Street Navigation Center housing COVID positive and COVID negative tenants, I got evicted for that. Okay, there was drug dealing going on, and they got to stay, but I was removed because I was complaining to all of you, well, those who were there, mainly people who aren't there anymore, but
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
thank you.
Our final speaker is Dia Good.
I'll be back to continue. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I wanted to bring to your attention that you have a city employee who has on numerous times bullied, intimidated, and threatened female subordinates, volunteers, and members of the public. I am afraid the city may have been informed of these problems and failed to act. I'd like to discuss this matter and file a complaint, but I just don't know how to proceed. So I put my email and phone number on the speaker slip, and I'm requesting that someone contact me regarding this matter. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers. I have no one signed up for council comments, ideas, or questions. Your meeting is concluded.
Thank you. We'll adjourn. We'll be back at 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock.